Innuendo fans, welcome back to the show. It is me, House of Wrestling's Nick Hausman.
And me, WWE Creative Ish's Robert Karpeles.
Yes, and we are here with a live, that's right, Blazer Maniac here asking in the chat room, this live? Yeah, this is live, my friend. And just like that, if you want to jump into the chat room here today, you can leave a comment. We may pull it up on the show. It is Fun Friday. At the end of the show, I have 3 great Apple iTunes reviews that we're going to read. We're going to give some credit to some of our awesome listeners. We got a lot of news to get to here today. At the end of the show, if we have time, Robert, we might actually talk about Billy and the CW because there's Billy NWA CW news. Isn't that crazy?
This is wild. And to Blazer Maniac, who posted here, what a great way to spend my 40th. What a birthday gift we may have for you today. Stay tuned. We might finally talk Billy and the CW if there's time.
The chat room is lighting up about the Billy and the CW right now. I see all of your comments. If we've got time at the end, I'm going to try my best to make sure we got time at the end. We're going to get to it. We've also got some updates on New Japan possibly losing some top talent, backstage news on Sting and Darby Allin versus the Young Bucks, Gable Stevenson's WWE future, the latest on The Rock and Roman Reigns. But first, I wanted to address the story we dropped yesterday that has gone somewhat viral here in the last 24 hours. I, over at House of Wrestling, broke a story that I've been working on for a couple days about a mostly Midwest photographer and occasional ring announcer, Stepstool Sarah. I was presented with a story about how a wrestler from St. Louis Anarchy believed that she was grooming his younger brother just before he was 18 and then initiating text messages 2 days after he turned 18. Became very uncomfortable when the wrestler approached Sarah, and I spoke with the wrestler, who's the older brother of the young man here who was uncomfortable around Sarah. He tells me that she blamed her autism for causing poor judgment, which I know has really upset quite a few people. And then there's some other anecdotes in there just about previous tweets and stuff that had come up that people took offense to, where she used the N-word. And anyway, St. Louis Anarchy 01, Black Label Pro, NAP in Indianapolis. I was confirmed they've all cut ties. And then she issued a statement to me saying that she's seeking help right now and is looking for her privacy. So I just wanted to address it here at the top of the show. It's a very serious story. I encourage everybody to go read the full story. If you haven't already, it's been passed around a lot of places over at houseofwrestling.com. But man, dude, my big takeaway from this is St. Louis Anarchy did a great job when they were presented with the situation. They took it seriously. We reviewed the messages that were perceived as inappropriate between Sarah and the young man, and the young man actually spoke with the owner of St. Louis Anarchy. So there was definitely some time and some thought and taken into this situation, and it sounds like the right actions were taken. So I thought it was very well handled from everything I gathered.
I think that there is a movement over the last few years in wrestling where people have taken these allegations seriously. They seem to have responded quickly and responsibly to what occurred. Nice job on your part in putting this all together and getting it out there. And not quite the way to start a Fun Friday, but at least, this story happened and it's being handled appropriately. So, kudos to those folks involved in the way that they handled it. There is no elegant way for me to transition from this to something
there's
else.
Not. There's not. There's really
and it
not.
took everything in me, by the way, because I did not know the other pieces about what this person this individual had tweeted using like the N-word. And then you're like, and they work for Black Label Pro. So I'm wondering what they actually called that promotion. But
hey, listen, Black Label's good. There's good people over at
I'm not saying
Mikey Blanton does great work.
Yes, they do.
Yes. So anyway, I also wanted to point out and just mention, of course, the information for Rain is at the bottom of the article. If you or anybody else is dealing with any kind of abuse or harassment, you absolutely can go to them 24/7. And just if anybody in the community ever feels there's a situation or an individual that's making people uncomfortable and there's reason to believe that, of course, you're always welcome to come to me directly as well. info@houseofwrestling.com. I've been getting all kinds of messages these days about the industry, and I'm doing everything I can to, look into everything I'm given and give it all the best of my abilities to wait out. So anyway, all right, let's talk about The Rock and Roman Reigns. Wrestling Observer saying, yeah, right. I don't. What is the
smoothest transition in the biz?
Rock and Roman Reigns. Sorry, Rock and Roman Reigns. Rock and Roman Reigns coming from the Wrestling Observer is not going to be going down at the Elimination Chamber. The reason is because Roman Reigns is not even booked for the Elimination Chamber. It sounds like he's going to do this Rumble match, this Fatal 4-Way, and, barring any kind of, televised defense or something like that, may not have his next match until WrestleMania. How do you feel about that?
I like that he's like the Dante Hicks of Elimination Chamber. He's not even supposed to be here today. Hopefully that's the case. You never know if they're trying to play 4-dimensional chess here and they're planting the story to get people off the scent. But at the same time, if I know that I have The Rock and Roman Reigns booked for a show that's not WrestleMania, I'm putting that out there front and center, and I'm trying to sell tickets because I know Meltzer reported this thing sold like 30 tickets. That was his accurate reporting right there. But it doesn't – it surprised me in a little bit because they've got this embarrassment of riches. This is the second year in a row they've found themselves in this position where the logical match was Roman Cody, and there's another match people were more excited for. Last year, it was Sami Zayn that a lot of folks wanted to see win the Rumble. They wanted to see him face Roman Reigns. We did get that match to Elimination Chamber. This year, the buzz has become where I really want to see Rock and Roman Reigns, whereas Cody is the natural fit as the continuation of his story. So it looks as though we're not going to most likely get Cody and Roman at WrestleMania. It sounds like we're getting Roman and The Rock.
I think that I kind of feel like Cody and Punk. Well, I don't know. Maybe Cody finds himself in there with Punk and Rollins or something like that.
That's wrong. You can't do that as a triple threat. You can't do that as a triple threat. If Punk's whole narrative is I've never main evented a WrestleMania, and it's already going to have an asterisk because there's 2 nights of WrestleMania. And Seth's whole narrative is I've never gone into Mania as the marquee, as the headliner, as the champion. I don't think you can shoehorn Cody in there without it feeling lesser than. Whenever we've gotten triple threat main events, even at Mania, it still feels significantly lesser than. We've seen it with, there was like a Cena, Triple H, Big Show, I think, triple threat. There was obviously the WrestleMania 20 main event. It takes away from the meaning of it being a main event if it's a triple threat, but you can't say no to Rock and Roman. These are highfalutin problems to have, guys. These are great problems for WWE to have to be worrying about right now.
Yeah,
and it may be a 4-way. Remember, Jinder might still win the title.
That's right. They could throw the book out the window here and just put the belt on Jinder.
Title, Nick.
The title. I know that drives you nuts. The title.
No, the backwards hat you're wearing drives me nuts. The calling it a belt is just disrespectful.
I can wear it forward. I don't mind promoting the good folks at Whole Foods. They were wonderful to me when I worked there in the deli. But anyway, I just wonder what happens with Cody here, because the Seth Rollins CM Punk thing seems just already kind of, I don't know, they've laid so much groundwork to it. I would be kind of surprised if it didn't happen at this point, right? Like that. And then Rock and Roman on the other night seems just like a lot of momentum behind it. It leaves Cody in a weird spot. Is there somebody here that eliminates Cody, that jumpstarts some kind of program that does not involve him in the main event picture coming out of the Royal Rumble? Is it, because, and is Punk Rollins, is it that much in stone? Because isn't Punk Rhodes its own kind of marquee match? I mean, they're the 2 biggest merchandise movers in the company. I mean, do they have to? I don't know. There's a lot of questions.
You can't take that away from Seth.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think from a morale standpoint, a PR standpoint, he has been kind of the guy who's been carrying Raw for the last year or so, and he has made it known for quite a while. He's never truly main evented a WrestleMania. So the idea that these 2 have to carry each other and lift themselves up, the only story that you could possibly tell is a bitter, emboldened Drew going after Cody, and then maybe doing a Drew Cody match of the guys who kind of keep getting screwed over by everybody else. But that feels a lot, I don't know, it's just a lot lesser than the main event spot and the finishing the story. And I think if Cody finishes the story anywhere but WrestleMania, it's gonna feel strange.
See, I don't actually hate Cody being slotted into the Roman Rock match as like a triple threat. It doesn't bug me as much because I love that this whole bloodline thing and how Cody's like, he's got his own bloodline. You know, he can play into that, right? I don't hate it. I just, again, I don't know where you put him, right? It's a very interesting predicament that you find in with Cody right now. Him winning the Rumble, earning that shot.
I thought they took a huge risk.
Punk.
Look, they took a big risk last year not letting Cody finish the story. He would have been the first newly minted main event babyface the WWE would have had in years. The guy who's like, this is who we're putting the momentum behind. He's our merchandise seller. He's our Hogan. And then when he lost that momentum. You know, he had the Brock feud that really was fine. Then we just saw the Nakamura feud, which was fine. He's been intermixed with Judgment Day and Bloodline. Another year of him lost in the wilderness. And I think fans are going to start really questioning whether or not they're going to support Cody. And it's a shame because everything he is doing from a marketing PR perspective is a home run. You know, he's no longer being weighed down by the vice president tag and having to worry about the work he was doing in AEW. It is just do the best that I need to do in the ring, be a positive PR role model for the WWE going forward, and care enough about this business that all I'm doing, living and breathing and dying for, is to be champion. And rarely do you see people who truly care about winning a title. You know that it will mean the world to him if and when that happens.
Well, hey, while we're talking about Cody Rhodes, I'll throw in our other Cody Rhodes anecdote here. USA Today spoke with Cody's real-life agent who confirmed that Cody's going to fulfill all the duties required of him as a best man for this random stranger that he agreed to be a part of their wedding at a house show. And just a reminder, everyone, of what mainstream non-pro wrestling specific news outlets write about when they think about pro wrestling, you know, and you're talking about how Cody's done such a good job marketing himself, keeping that buzz around him. Again, look at this mainstream attention on Cody Rhodes here about this wacky ass, I'm going to be this random stranger's best man.
I mean, in the world of wrestling, the one thing you don't want to be involved in is a wrestling wedding situation. So if I were the bride, stay away from the cake. And if there is a box from Jake the Snake Roberts, do not open it because it's going to be a snake.
We got Bucks in 404 says, make Cody plan the bachelor party. I think it's a great idea. I bet that's the responsibility of a best man. He's obligated to.
You bring in QT Marshall to plan that bachelor party. That thing's going to be a banger.
QT Sean Spears, he's going to have the Nightmare family in his wedding party there. It'll be wonderful. He'll probably get a track suit out of it.
That sounds really awful.
Speaking of tracksuits, the University of Minnesota, their head coach has confirmed that Gable Steveson is not going to be part of their upcoming season. He's no longer going to be competing in collegiate amateur wrestling. He's focused full-time on his WWE career, although he is occasionally showing up at the school to train with some of their heavyweights in the gym. But this is why we've been seeing him more on WWE TV, obviously, right? It sounds like he's going to be around more coming up. And I'd be remiss, you know, if we started off the show talking about bad behavior. That seems to be lingering with Gable. That mixed with how I just don't think he's really adapted to the actual physical side of pro wrestling. I'm still very up in the air about what the future holds for Gable Steveson. I know some people in WWE that are skeptical at best. I'll say that.
I'm excited because the WWE will then license Judas and blast it every time Gable's in the ring. So I think that'll be an absolute blast. Good for Lee Fitting's first week on the job to try to have to work through all that. I get to some degree why they think Gable for a while was a can't miss prospect. I feel like right now he's very much a can miss prospect. But they remember at one point Von Wagner was the heir apparent to be the next big star. And they've stepped back and they've given him a chance to try to mature and learn in the ring. Hopefully they realize that, you know, Gable might need more time, more seasoning. And if he's stepping back from his time as a Golden Gopher, then maybe they do have a path forward for him working full time at the PC to up his game.
Well, we got Andrew McDonald here saying his brother is excellent, Damon Kemp, and that is the truth. That is very true. Damon has been doing a wonderful job in NXT, and is somebody I think Gable could hide behind a little bit. You know, like Damon seems to have this kind of charisma, and he's taken to the wrestling part of it. That, you know, again, maybe if Gable kind of just hung around his brother for a while and kind of just normalized, you know, his existence in that bubble, it could help him, because I think you're right, Andrew. Like Gable's brother, Damon Kemp, I'm a big fan of. I think he's done a wonderful job in NXT.
Maybe Gable winds up as the Eric Angle of the family.
Wow. The WrestleVotes, our good friend over at WrestleVotes, he notes that the plan for Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits is to name their stable, which has been around for like 7 months now. It has no name, just been Bobby Lashley, the Street Profits. The name sounds like they're going to be called the Pride, and I kind of love it. I think it's a badass name.
Well, they were going to be the Bellator, so I'm glad they went with the Pride. But yes, I think that'll be cool. I'm sure there'll be some lion-inspired imagery. We'll see. Now, what I'm curious about is if there's going to be folks rumbling on the other side about whether or not this is, well, what about Proud and Powerful? Because I remember that there was the issue where they called them Dem Boys on the Fox Twitter account one time. And people got very angry about it. So there's all these conspiratorial mindsets there. But I think the Pride is a cool name, especially if it looks like they're now going to be baby faces.
Yes. And lastly, here in our WWE block, over on X, friend of the show, Sean Waltman, he shared a message noting that although there are rumors that he's going to be in the Royal Rumble, and he says he can go. He can't do the jumping spinny kick into the corner. He's like, that's not going to happen. But he can still go. But he's about a month away from being able to take his shirt off in public. So there's definitely absolutely no chance that Sean Waltman's going to be in the Rumble. Color me skeptical.
When did Sean ever wrestle with a shirt off?
A great question, Robert. Always wore a singlet, didn't he?
He wore the singlet. Sometimes he would wear the DX like football jersey thing. So sounds like 100% confirmed Sean Waltman's going to be in the Royal Rumble.
I hope he gets to do it. I love Sean so much. He deserves that pop. He deserves that moment. I know he's been wanting to do more. I know that for a fact. I know Sean wants to be doing more. He unfortunately got injured a little while ago, and I think in his last match against Joey Janela, unfortunately. But he wants to go, and he doesn't just want to be a coach. He wants to wrestle. I mean, this guy wants to do matches right now. I think if Tony Khan, well, it's interesting, right? Because like Sean's like so embedded in like WWE lore, and like he's boys with Triple H, who's now running the show. So like very little incentive to leave that. But I don't know if AEW threw a bunch of money at him and told him he could go on a run. I think it would definitely be on his mind. So
I think he'd be a hell of a surprise entrant for the Royal Rumble. I think that pop alone, we would get the X-Pac pop. Yeah, instead of X-Pac Heat. I think that'd be fantastic. Dude, he deserves more than almost a lot of people. Like, he really deserves his flowers. He was so supremely talented for so long, and then just sort of got maligned unfairly with that notion of X-Pac Heat, and people don't want to see him. He was underappreciated in his time.
Yeah, 100%. The Pac Pop. Well, hey, we're going to take a moment here to shout out our very first sponsor ever on the show. Are you guys ready for this? This episode of Rumor Innuendo right now is sponsored by Blue Chew. Hey, everybody, let's talk about sex. You guys remember the days when you're always ready to go? Well, now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. So listen up about BlueChew.com.
Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of the licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days.
Yeah, well, hey, you're probably asking yourself, look, does this stuff work? Do I even need it? I'm curious. Maybe you've always wanted to try it. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you the chance to try Blue Chew for a month absolutely free. You just got to pay the $5 shipping, and in order to do that, you got to use the promo code Rumor. You're gonna love it. You're gonna have a great time. Listen, I have a friend who's been using Blue Chew for years. It's no secret that Blue Chew has been a major sponsor for tons of other prominent pro wrestling podcasts. A lot of my friends have had the chance to try Blue Chew. And I will tell you, it works. It is something that'll get you going. I have a lot of friends, wives, and girlfriends who are very, very happy because Blue Chew was brought into their lives. I would think it is safe to say that if you are looking to try something, experiment, get a little bit more going in the bedroom, Blue Chew, man, I would do it, right?
I like that you said wives and girlfriends. I don't know who some of your friends are that are leading these double lives. But even if you are someone who has a wife and a girlfriend, Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. And we've got a special offer for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code Rumor at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code Rumor to receive your first month free. Again, visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this fun Friday, where we may finally break some fantastic news about Billy and the CW.
We may get to it here. Hey, Josh Worth here saying they do support the WrestlePod world well. Good for Blue Chew. Yeah, man. And Josh, you want to support us? Again, it's just $5 shipping, totally free, 1 month. Go over to Rumor, use the promo code Rumor, and you're going to go get some Blue Chew sent to your door. It's going to be the best package you ever received. It's a package for your package. All right, moving on. Moving on. More.
This is like a rite of passage, by the way, for us. Like getting to do our first Blue Chew read. This is monumental. There are folks right now listening that are marking out for this, that they have listened to this show and thought, when is it going to be art? Like we've heard Arn Anderson talk about using Blue Chew. We've heard Jim Ross, by God, talk about using Blue Chew. And here we are, so happy to be part of the Blue Chew podcast universe.
Yes, absolutely. All right, let's talk about AEW here right now. We got some stiff takes about these people. Am I right? So we're going to talk about Sting and Darby Allin versus the Young Bucks, the impending retirement match for the Icon. Fightful saying that Sting had a major say in who his final opponents would be. For what it's worth, the Observer flatly stating Sting chose the Young Bucks as his final opponents. Fightful saying that Sting has really just preferred to work tag team matches to singles matches. That's why he's only worked tag matches in AEW so far. Tony Khan, respecting the work that Sting has done throughout his career and what he's given to the company, is willing to basically do anything Sting wants on the road to his retirement match, at the retirement match. And that seems to be the case across the board, because the Observer saying that the Young Bucks were supposed to be off of AEW TV even longer than they were here, which was about almost 3 months. But when Sting said, this is the match I want, these are the guys I want to wrestle, they got their, manscaping going on, and they got back in action. And now we saw him on Wednesday night. So there you go. That's the latest skinny on Sting and Darby Allin versus the Young Bucks.
I would have been shocked that if Sting was announcing his retirement match, that he would not get to call his shot and time and place. I know that, Flair was very critical of his WWE retirement, that he felt he didn't have more of a hand in saying what that process looked like. Mm-hmm. But Sting in AEW, it's not as though he needed AEW. I think AEW in a lot of ways needed him. They wanted the name recognition. They wanted the credibility. So giving him a proper send-off is the right thing to do. Hats off to Tony, who is he's given Sting, in theory, what he wants. And Sting saying, I want a tag match. I don't want a singles match. My personal opinion on that, I thought for sure if they were going to have a tag match and they wanted to have some sort of embracing all of Sting's legacy, FTR to me felt like the proper choice for it. You're in North Carolina. These are guys who modeled themselves after Arn and Tully, who certainly made a career out of wrestling Sting. I think that would have been fantastic. But unfortunately, Dax and Cash, not EVPs.
I still think it goes, and this is just my hunch, I feel like it goes back to the Southern Cali roots. I think he came in, the Dingo Warriors or whatever they were called, with the Ultimate Warrior or whatever. South Cali tag team, went off to be a single star. He's come back and he's wrapping up his career as a tag team star. In my gut, that it just feels like there's some kind of connection there. But hey, we'll probably find out more about why he picked the Bucks here very, very soon. But I will tell you that from the Observer, also it was noted that multiple people backstage at AEW apparently embarrassed by Tony Khan's Jinder Mahal tweets. Color me shocked, Robert. Oh my goodness gracious! People were embarrassed by that behavior. How could you be embarrassed by what he did? Oh. Fainting couch.
It doesn't surprise me in the slightest that was going to come out. I think that people see what's going on. They want the focus, the spotlight to be on what AEW is doing, what their talent is doing. And when you have the owner of your company taking shots at another talent elsewhere in such an odd, childish manner, it takes away again from what these guys are doing in the ring. And there's a lot of really talented people that they are putting some steam behind who deserve the opportunity to be seen and enjoyed without all of these outside distractions, asterisks, whatever have you.
I am Mr. Cheeseball said the Blade Runners was the name of the team at the Warrior. Thank you. Very good correction. Yes. I believe Warrior was the Dingo Warrior, and then he became the Ultimate Warrior. So there we go. Over in New Japan, back-to-back stories I'll combine here. Matt Riddle, he's going to be booked for the New Japan Cup in March, but at the same time, coming from the Observer, they're saying that New Japan may be losing multiple top foreign talents here beyond just Tama Tonga, who has said he's going to be relocating to the States. The reason is there's just a lot more money to be made in the United States at WWE and AEW than New Japan Pro Wrestling. So Riddle probably making some decent coin over there right now if they're worried about losing these kind of gaijin foreign wrestlers that they can build, like him, Nimeth. I'm sure very, very high demand if this story is accurate here.
It wouldn't surprise me. I think that WWE, under new leadership, guidance, what have you, has shown that they are willing to treat foreign talent, New Japan stars, respectfully and as major performers. So I think that if you have the opportunity to be in WWE and you can be stateside and be closer to your family and your home, or if you're in AEW and if AEW is back in hiring mode and they're willing to pay to bolster this roster, especially those folks that work really well with, say, a Will Ospreay, why the hell not? You know, I get why you want to be a part of New Japan. There's the history, there's the lineage, the legacy, but a lot of those people, they want to be back stateside. They want to make the most money they possibly can. And for the first time in a while, WWE seems to be hiring again. So, get that money.
Yeah, 100%. And lastly here, we are coming to the end of the show. We're going to get to those Apple Podcasts, but I think we have a little bit of time because there was some Billy Corgan NWA CW news. I was right, Robert. The NWA, they've got new content that's going to be on the CW app. It starts February 6th. I'm not sure if this is just Power or also the reality show, but man, if you've been following House of Wrestling, you guys knew it. You guys knew this was going to happen. We were hot on the trail, and it's happened. And now they're going to be on the CW app, Robert. It happened, and we did it. I finally talked about it.
I'm excited to talk about it, but we have Apple reviews we have to get to, so we're going to have to put a pin in talking any further about Billy and the CW. We'll push it to next week.
I will be remiss. I did have some people at the NWA reach out. They wanted me to call attention to some comments from the girlfriend or former girlfriend of NWA tag team star Rush Freeman. We'll have some coverage on it this afternoon. Very upsetting allegations of abuse, and I would be remiss if I didn't call that out here at the end of the show. But maybe another time we'll get into some more NWA news. All right, Apple iTunes reviews. First one here comes from Chris Kurter. He says, the best daily podcast. That's what it titled here. Excellent podcast that gets in and gets out while still managing to hit all the high spots. Sorry, Billy. A far cry from weekly 4-hour podcasts that feel like a chore. Well, hey, thank you very much, Chris. I appreciate that. You guys can be like Chris, too. Go leave an Apple review over on the iTunes page. Robert, do you want to read the next one here?
I don't have it up.
What the hell, dude? I work all morning.
I closed the thing. I had it up because I had the Blue Chew gimmick up. Okay, this is from Andy's Jack 23, your daily wrestling fix. If you love wrestling, this is the pod for you. For 30 minutes, Nick and Robert dissect the latest news and rumors going around about your favorite sports entertainers, from breaking down the latest free agent signings to maybe, but probably not, discussing Billy Corgan and the CW. It's a wonderful way to spend a half hour every day. Do yourself a favor and subscribe to the Rumor and Innuendo podcast. Thank you for the fantastic review.
Very early on, I told Robert, I don't know that we should do this Billy bit forever because I think it's going to burn itself out. I was horribly wrong.
It's not a bit. We will. There's always going to be. It's a refilling bucket of information. This Billy and the CW. It's unfortunate we always just stack it at the end. We'll get more to it next week.
Okay,
is there
all
any
right.
more reviews?
I'm going to read one more. We've been behind, so I'm going to read one more. We're going to read 3 today. But again, we try to do this every Fun Friday where we read the Apple iTunes reviews. So if you want to get creative, you want to say something funny, you want to ask a question that you make sure we answer on the show here, Apple iTunes reviews, baby. That's the way to do it. All right, J-Poc Baby. Last review of the week, last thing of the week. He titles his review, Best Thing to Listen to on Lunch or the Drive Home from Work. J-Poc says, if you love listening to the most up-to-date news and information in the world of professional wrestling, this is the podcast for you. 3 exclamation points. You know he means it. A quick 30-plus minute pod 5 days a week to let you know what is going on behind the scene. Nick Hausman brings his professionalism and quick wit to the show. I have been a fan of Nick's since his days doing pods with Bischoff. Oh, son. Or more recently
that
with
makes
wrestling.
one of you.
Yes, thank you. Well, it was a popular show, but went off the rails. More recently with Wrestling Inc. or Sean Waltman, the Ying to Nick's Yank. Yikes. The lawyer guy, Robert Karpeles.
The lawyer guy. Karpeles, dude, it's been a month and a half.
Karpeles.
Seriously, I'm begging you, dude.
I'm so bad. I'm so bad with words and like pronunciations.
Yes, do we get another Chavo?
The lawyer guy, Robert Karpeles, brings
Karpeles.
Karpeles.
Seriously,
I think I'm just like I have some kind of dyslexia of the brain. The lawyer guy, Robert Karpeles.
Oh my God, you're 0 for 3. Is this like your new Billy in the CW situation here?
Guy, Robert Karpeles.
I'm begging you, dude. By the way, guys, this is why I have to say my own name in the intro when there's that weird gap. Because Nick pays like, oh no, you should introduce yourself. No, it's not. He's too scared to say my last name.
I'm sorry. I have brain issues. Robert brings a different voice that is nice to hear.
It is nice to hear. It's a different voice because I'm the one pronouncing my name properly.
These guys know wrestling, plus they have all the scoop of NWA and the CW. 3 for 3 with the reviews with the CW jokes. I love you guys.
Yes.
Robert Karpeles.
Oh my God, it's not Karpeles.
Robert Karpeles. Robert Karpeles.
Jesus Christ, on a crutch. Anyway. All right. On behalf of the giggly goof, Nick Hausman.
I'm not done.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not done.
Go to House of Wrestling and read all of his fucking stories.
Go read all of my stuff over at houseofwrestling.com. I'll be at Tampa for Royal Rumble weekend. Let me make sure there's nothing else at the end. I think it's just plugged up. Oh, yeah. And then, of course, if you want to be like everybody who had their review on the show, go leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice. I've had a great, fun Friday with you, Robert Karpeles.
Wow, that was perfect. Yes, this has been the most fun Friday we've ever had. So on behalf of Nick Hausman, I'm Robert Karpeles. Best of luck in your future endeavors.